Cap radar on CNBC TV18, and it is time to focus on gas consumption companies. Kotak Institutional Equities has written in a note that Indian gas consumption has risen 15% on a YoY basis in FY24 so far. It adds that with new APM price formula and rising shortfall, gas costs for companies could rise, and that is something which could be a dampener for these companies. But of course, it's our birthday week as well. CNBC TV18 enters the 25th year of its operations tomorrow, so we are speaking to all the big voices and big faces on the channel today as well. To discuss this and a lot more, we are joined by Ashu Shinghal, who is the Managing Director of Mahanagar Gas. Mr. Shinghal, thank you so much for joining us today. Always a pleasure speaking with you. And you have joined us at the opportune time as well, as CNBC TV18 celebrates the 25th year of existence. So thank you for that. And, let's talk about the consumption trends now. We need to understand how consumption has been in Q3 so far. What has been the conversions? Will volumes in Q3 be better than Q2? Because yes, we did see some growth, but it has slowed down in terms of volumes across the industry. What's your sense?
See, if you see quarter Q2 versus Q1 of this year, the volume has grown by around 4% or so, and the trend is continuing. So we have seen growth in October and November as compared to Q2. So there will be some more increase in terms of volume, and we target by the year end it will be around 6 to 7% year-on-year growth. With respect to conversions also, we have launched certain schemes which for very targeted schemes for heavy vehicles or heavy commercial vehicles, which can be converted into CNG. And for retrofit and the differential of CNG versus petrol diesel prices, we are funding as high as 5 lakh rupees per vehicle. So we think that this will also attract some more volume or conversions in maybe this month or next few months.
Okay, Mr. Shinghal, thanks a lot for joining us. This is Pavitra. So, in the first half of the year, your volumes were quite flat. You did say that by the end, it could pick up to 6 to 7%. Would you like to give us some kind of estimate of what we can see in Q3 as well? Just, trying to get a sense of how much of an improvement we've seen over the quarter.
See, Q2, as I mentioned, Q2 were 3.5 and slightly around that number. And this quarter, Q3, October and November, we have seen further growth of around 3.6 or 3.65. So by the year end, we expect 7% growth, 6 to 7% growth. That's what the number we have in our mind.
Okay, 6 to 7% growth is what you'll see in volumes. What about EBITDA per SCM? The last time we spoke, you had upgraded your guidance. You said you'll be able to do of around 11 to 13 rupees per SCM versus 8 to 10 rupees per SCM, which you were expecting earlier. What is the gas sourcing looking right now? Is the allocation from HPHT higher? What will it do to EBITDA per SCM, not only in FY24, but FY25 as well?
See, the EBITDA per SCM, we are in very comfortable zone. Like Q2 was 16 rupees or so. Currently, on half-yearly basis, we are around 15 rupees per SCM EBITDA. Now, the HPHT gas is rising, or to say it otherwise, APM gas allocation is coming down, and it has come down substantially in last few months or so. So around 81% APM gas we are getting, and 20% is HPHT mixing. So weighted average cost is around $7.5 per MMBTU for us for the PNG and CNG section. And we think that APM gas may go further down. It all depends. We not try to speculate, but seeing the trend, it may go down further. But the good part is whatever shortfall of APM is there is compensated by HPHT, which is currently valued at $10 per MMBTU. So as the margins are high, we expect that some of it we will be able to absorb.
Okay, that is on the EBITDA per SCM and what you can expect on that front. I also want to get a word on this Unison acquisition. When do you see the volumes from that beginning to flow in? You had mentioned that you'll see 0.1 MMSE and MD to start, and then it could go up to around 1. But will the volumes from that begin to come in this financial year in FY24?
See, 0.1 is the current one, and 1 MMSCMD we expect around 6 years down the line. So it will gradually pick up. Around the current consumption of them is only 0.11 or around that number. So once we take over, now the regulatory approval is awaited, which we expect that it will be coming out very soon. So once that is available, we take control of the company, and then we'll see how we can ramp it up. But we expect that 0.1 and maybe 5 to 7% or 10% growth every year. We can reach up to 1 MMSCMD in 6 to 7 years of time.
Is the regulatory approval expected in this fiscal itself? Any indication?
Yes. See, as unconfirmed news are there that we expected maybe within this month only.
Okay. Okay, all right. So that is something that we'll be watching out for. But, you know, the industry-wide phenomenon just suggests that EV is something which is a threat. We saw it in the case of IGL. In Maharashtra, it's still the draft policy. Any indication on whether they will actually make it the final policy? Have you had a word? And will it be as stringent as what we saw in the case of Delhi?
See, the policy is already in place in Maharashtra also, and the numbers are not as stringent as it is in Delhi. But the difference is that the policy is being there, the targets which were there for, let us say, 2022 and 2023, they have not yet been achieved. And there is no enforcement in terms of how it will be achieved. So they are, we are just waiting that targets for 2025, which the Maharashtra policy has, is around 25% vehicles in certain segments. So which is very different from Delhi, which is much more aggressive. But even these numbers are yet to be achieved in Maharashtra. So we think that we will get more time in Maharashtra as far as EV policy implementation is concerned.
Okay, that would be something to watch for closely. Mr. Shinghal, you know, we were talking about this Unison acquisition. You have been talking about more acquisitions as well. So A, what is the cash that you have on your books? And is there something that we can hear from you in terms of an acquisition in the coming months?
See, acquisition is a very lengthy process. It's not, it cannot be done in a very short period of time. We have around 2,000 CR as cash. And every year, if we generate some PAT and capex of 800 CR, and depreciation is add-on accounting entry, so we generate around 1,000 crore every year. So
but is some of the is any of the acquisition talk ongoing? Is it in, you know, even if it's in an early stage, we're just trying to get a sense of that.
No, right now we are just exploring, but nothing is on the card.
Okay, so nothing in inorganic ways, but you've been talking about expansion as well, right? Not from the CNG space to maybe EV supply chain, or talk about LNG as well. Anything that we can hear from MGL, because you do want to change your revenue mix in that sense?
Yeah, in LNG we have taken a step. We have already formed a SPV with Baidyanath LNG, and we have set a target of setting 6 new LNG stations in a 1 year time from now. That is the calendar year 2024, we will be having 6 more new stations of LNG. One LNG station we have recently commissioned in few months back, which is near Pune border, Mumbai-Pune border. The other EV value chain, we are exploring certain opportunities. As and when they mature, we will be announcing it to the market. Still in the very initial phase, so we can't commit anything that something is yet frozen.
Okay, so we're going to leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us and taking us through how things are really looking for Mahanagar Gas and what you expect in the coming few months as well. That is the management of MGL telling us that they're targeting volume growth of 6 to 7% for FY24. They have seen a 4% increase in volumes in, Q3 so far already. So it looks like, things are picking up a bit, at least from those earlier levels that we were talking about.
Yes, it'll be the key to track because volume growth, as I was pointing out earlier, has slowed down for most of these city gas distribution companies. But MGL, in terms of EBITDA, has outperformed the entire sector. That's the